Everyone, welcome back to another video. So today I am going to be reacting to people that lost death row meals, and I'm going to go into a bit of backstory of why they got the death row and why they got obviously the death sentence. But yeah, I'm talking quietly because my brother is asleep literally in the room, and because I'm in a bungalow it echoes, so I do have to actually be quiet. But I will, when I edit this, I'll make the sound louder. So the first one we got is John Wayne Gacy. Oh, my under eyes. Something wrong with a makeup wipe. It'll be fine for this video. So we have John Wayne Gacy. And he was put to death in Illinois by lethal injection at the age of 52. He was sentenced to death for rape and 33 counts of murder. For his last meal, Gacy requested 12 fried shrimp, a bucket of original recipe KFC, French fries and a pound of strawberries. Yes?
Food.
Thanks.
That's said you got to give you that. She's got to give right.
Cheers.
John, you're great for you, Toby.
Yeah, this one.
Right, okay, you're brilliant, mate.
No, it's alright. I can lean it up against here.
Alright.
So, personally, I would not give him KFC for his last meal because of the murder side of it and the rape side of things. But I think he should just be deaf there and then die without any food because that is disgusting. Then we have Timothy McVeigh. The American tourist behind the Oklahoma City bombing was put to death in Indiana by lethal injection at the age of 33. He was sentenced to death for 168 counts of murder. For his last meal, McVeigh requested 2 pints of mint chocolate ice cream. Can't lie, I would request that too. Mint chocolate ice cream is elite. But 168 counts? No wonder he got the death sentence. Especially in America, they're really hot on that. Then we have Ricky Ray Rector. He was put to death in Arkansas by lethal injection at the age of 42. He was sentenced to death for 2 counts of murder. For his last meal, Rector mentally incapacitated during his time on death row. His defence team argued, requested steak, fried chicken, cherry Kool-Aid and pecan pie. He left the pecan pie behind, though telling her God that he was saving it for later. There was no saving it for later. He ate that meal and then died. There was no saving it for later. I also can't lie. It was only 2 counts. I don't think he should have got the death sentence for that. I think he should have just been arrested for life. Because there's a lot more people that have killed a lot more people than he has.
Don't waste any time when it comes to women.
Then we have Stephen Anderson. He was put to death in California by lethal injection at the age of 49. He was sentenced to death for burglary, assault, 7 counts of murder and escaping from prison. For his last meal, Anderson requested 2 grilled cheese sandwiches, a pint of cottage cheese, a hominy corn mixture, peach pie, chocolate chip ice cream and radishes. That's a lot of food. Also, that food was disgusting. I wouldn't have ate any of that. He also did a lot on here to be... No wonder he got the death sentence. Like, he did a lot of stuff. Then we have Angel Nivers Dias. Angel Nivers Dias was put to death in Florida by lethal injection at the age of 55. He was sentenced to death for murder, kidnapping and armed robbery. Dias declined the last meal, so he was served a regular prison meal which he declined to eat as well. He declined to eat a meal even though he knew he was going to die, but he was being selfish enough to decline a meal. Anyone would have took that, surely. He is selfish and he's like a horrible man. I still have this cold. I've had this for like 2 weeks now, maybe even 3. It's so annoying, it won't go. Then we have Ronnie Lee Gardner. Ronnie Lee Gardner was put to death in Utah by a firing squad at the age of 49. He was sentenced to death for burglary, robbery and 2 counts of murder. For his last meal, Gardner requested steak, a lobster tail, apple pie, vanilla ice cream, and to eat it all while watching The Lord of the Rings. That's a firm request, watching Lord of the Rings while eating all that shit food. That is disgusting. But yeah, hope he's happy, 6 foot under. Then we have Ted Bundy. I've actually heard a lot about Ted Bundy. I've heard he's a very horrible man. Ted Bundy, one of the most notorious serial killers in American history. was put to death in Florida by electric chair at the age of 43. He was sentenced to death for rape, necrophilia. Necrophilia is where you obsess over dead people. Prison escape and more than 35 counts of murder. Bundy declined a special meal, so was given the traditional large meal. Steak cooked medium rare, eggs over easy, hash browns, toast with butter and jelly, milk and juice. That's not bad. That's basically like a fry-up. I'd eat that. But yeah, he's a horrible person. Then we have Alan Lee Tiny Davis. He was put to death in Florida by electric chair at the age of 54. He was sentenced to death for robbery and 3 counts of murder. For his last meal, Davis requested lobster tail, fried potatoes, half a pound of fried shrimp, 6 ounces of fried clams, half a load of garlic bread, and 32 ounces of A&W root beer. That's a lot of food. And then he died. So the food didn't really go anywhere. Teresa Lewis. Teresa Lewis was put to death in Virginia by lethal injection at the age of 41. She was sentenced to death for murder, conspiracy, and robbery. Why would she be sentenced to death for conspiracy? I swear that's where you believe something but it's not true. Like, surely that's not legal. Surely that's not illegal, right? I'm so confused. For her last meal, Lewis requested fried chicken, peas with butter, apple pie, and Dr. Pepper. That is like a kid's meal. I'd eat that. That reminds me of my childhood. I'd eat that 100%. Then we have Sacco and Vanzetti. Ferdinando, Nicole Sacco, and Bartolomeo Vanzetti were put to death in Massachusetts by electric chair at the age of 36 and 39. They were sentenced to death on 2 counts of murder. For their last meal. Sacco and Vanzetti requested soup, tea, meat, and toast. That's a good dinner. I'd eat that. In 1977, the governor of Massachusetts issued a statement saying that they had been unfairly tried and convicted. This case had been open ever since. It's been open ever since, but they're dead, so even if they aren't guilty now, they're dead. So what can they do? Then the last one, we have Ronnie Threadgill. Ronnie Threadgill was put to death in Texas by lethal injection at the age of 40. He was sentenced to death for murder. For his last meal, Threadgill requested a baked chicken, mashed potato, with country gravy, vegetables, sweet peas, bread, tea, water, and punch. However, Texas abolished last meal choice in 2011, so Threadgill was just given the same meal as everyone else in his unit. What a shame he didn't get his meal. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that video. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.